What is good? It's Nature Boy 3000, Nature's Underground. Welcome back for another video. All right, so I'm intrigued by how we begin to feel when we start to break away from digital media and our phones and we go back to the way we're supposed to feel. I mean, this is basically like a dopamine detox ideal of what I want to talk about. Like, what is it that we come back to that makes us feel so grounded and aware and just one with our environment when we decide to step away from technology? I invite you to go ahead and try to go a week without the apps you have in your phone or just the media that you're always consuming. I know YouTube is a big problem for me. It still is. I love to watch YouTube videos. I can find myself there freaking hours, like before I know it, It's just when you begin to become aware of where you're spending your time and you almost have like this checklist of like an audit sheet of like, okay, I was here this long. There's apps for that to just go ahead and see where you're spending the majority of your time on your phone. It's pretty crazy. It's kind of sad to see, like, you spend a lot more time on your phone than you think. So that's why, like, when I was always trying to like come up with ways that I could feel better in my day-to-day and just focus and just freaking feel amazing, one of the last things that I thought about was, leaving behind technology or the internet or just severely cutting my use of it, because I was so addicted to it. I was so dependent on it as like a distraction from my truth and what I'm about. And I guess everyone's just kind of hiding from what's going on in their minds. But when you just relax and you get present and you sit still, because that's what I've been doing a lot of, honestly. I've been sitting still a lot more than usual lately. I've been putting a huge emphasis in my commitment to meditation each morning. And I literally just sit still with my thinking mind. And that right there, it's like every time I sit there and I do that, it's like I'm getting closer and closer to the truth of like what actually matters and what's important. And the more I'm starting to realize that technology is not in that mix for me, like it doesn't serve me whatsoever. So the more I continue to meditate and the more I just cut out the unnecessary, oddly enough, I mean, it shouldn't be odd at all for anybody, but the more human I'm feeling, the more human of an experience that I'm having in my day-to-day in terms of presence. It's kind of like if you were to think about a farmer and he's just like, he doesn't have a phone on him, maybe he doesn't have connection, right? Because he's a farmer, but he's spending his whole day in nature, maybe doing farm work. He's just literally in his land and he's just doing what humans did for a long time before technology. You would probably see an extreme presence in his eyes because he's not thinking about, whoa, I need to check my Twitter feed or Instagram or, anything like that. That's the furthest thing from his mind. He's thinking about, I need to sustain this harvest. I need to work the land. I need to be here now. He's with nature. So that's all I'm trying to get back to, is just like getting back to how we're supposed to feel as humans. It's just funny because you can't put that into a pill. You can't sell that on TV. It's just very, very underground thinking, like Nature's Underground, right? We're giving you our perspective of healing and health through the unpopular opinions of what's not mainstream. And what is mainstream, right? It's consumer culture. So the second you decide to be different, which is a good thing nowadays, you want to be different, you cut away from the unnecessary, and people are going to look at you like you're crazy. I mean, people look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them that sometimes I just wish I had a flip phone again, because really all I need to do is maybe text a few people, a few friends, my loved ones. And for the main part, I could handle any type of communication with a phone call. And if I did that, I'd probably be feeling even better, right? But in the meantime, with our smartphones, it's a lot better to just discipline our use over smartphones. Because it's not to say that smartphones aren't this thing that you should just throw away. There's plenty of uses for them that they can make you that much better of a human. And they're amazing technology, but you just have to discipline your use of that. So the second that you begin to do that, and then you implement practices such as meditation to grow your awareness, you just become a lot happier for one. In my day-to-day, I've noticed that my level of happiness has gone, I don't know, from like a 4 to like a 7 or 8. It's just, and I've only been keeping up this practice of meditation for like recently, of like longer sessions for like a week. But that's been serving me very well in terms of my presence and just feeling good day to day. But I know that a big part of me feeling so good is also my getting away from technology and just kind of putting it on the back burner. Like, I don't need it. It's unnecessary. So to conclude, I would just invite you to try eliminating your phone or heavily disciplining your use of it for, let's say, just a week or two. And just start to begin to notice how you feel when you don't feel the pull of social media. You don't have the urgency to text others back, and it's just these unnecessary conversations that lead to nowhere, or, you know, indulge in YouTube video after YouTube video going down the rabbit hole. And you'll start to notice your creative essence coming back to you, and you want to create, you want to go talk to people, you actually want to experience life, because you're not living life in the digital world, which can lead to a lot of suffering and a lot of loneliness if you continue down that road. So it's kind of like a wake-up call for you during these times, because I feel like a lot of people want to just consume right now because that's all there is to do. That's like, you know, when you're just at home and you're quarantined or whatever's going on, that's like the first thing to go to. But I want you to think about that for a second and actually choose to create, choose to better yourself, and just do what's not the ordinary. And the ordinary is totally to just freaking waste your time. Don't do that. All right? So be better. Go be present. Go meditate. And I'll see you in future videos. All right, peace.